from Christchurch in Barbados to Port Maria in St. Mary, Jamaica. West Indies fans all over the Caribbean, in the diasporas, all over the world are very, very happy this morning. West Indies fans are celebrating the excellent bowling in India. West Indies fans are celebrating the brilliant batting in India. West Indies fans are celebrating the outstanding bowling in India. This morning, West Indies fans are celebrating the fact that we are 11th in the World Test Championship table. West Indian fans who pay their airfare, ground transportation, hotel accommodations, and match ticket for thousands of US dollars are satisfied this morning that when our players make 20, 30s, and 40s, they have done their job. West Indies fans appreciate and have come to accept that this team will lose matches, and so it doesn't matter to them no more. They are celebrating. Hello everyone, and welcome to the #1 cricket channel in the Caribbean. I thank you for being here. I appreciate your company, and as always, I look forward to your interaction. Joining me this morning is the indomitable son of the former legendary West Indies cricketer, Basil Butcher Jr. Good morning, Basil, and welcome to the Cricket Forum.
Good morning, Carlton. Thank you for having me, and good morning to your viewers. I like that. That's a very lovely introduction.
Well, you see, thank you very much, Basil. But I've invited you here to look at the Bangladeshi tour and pick our playing 11. Yesterday, I gave my feedback on what I thought was the West Indies performance in India. I'm asking you, Basil, tell me, what is your performance of the team in India?
Look, the team went to India, very inexperienced team, especially in those conditions, Test cricket, minus two of their better bowlers in the Josephs. So anybody who had great expectations, I would say they had to be crazy. The other thing is the transition from playing T20 cricket to playing Test cricket was also a serious challenge because there were no warm-up matches scheduled. At least one, I feel, could have been scheduled with the time frame that they were in India before the first test for these guys to get acclimated into Test cricket. And they got steamrolled in the first game. And the second game, credit to the performances of Campbell and Hope making hundreds. But on the flip side, one would say India, with their tactics, in my view, underestimated or disrespected their opponents, which is a cardinal sin in sport. Because when India enforced the follow-on, I thought Shubman Gill was smoking cheap weed to make such a boneheaded decision. But the only thing I could come up with was greatly underestimating the West Indies team. And to the credit of the West, those two batters in particular that I mentioned, they took them and made them feel the pain out in the field for a prolonged period. But eventually, getting bowled out for 390 and giving India 123 to win. It was always in the cards. The only thing that could have saved us was rain on the fifth day, which did not happen.
So, Basil, let me ask you, sir, are you satisfied that with West Indies bowling in India?
No, I wouldn't say I'm satisfied at all. I think that one of the things that showed up, like a guy like Carrie Pierre on his first tour, um, Pierre did not look penetrative at all. He bowled tight. I don't know if that was his role, to just bowl tight and hold up an end, because sometimes teams would have a spinner. That's your role. Your role is to keep things tight. Another guy is the one who's gonna, another type of spinner is gonna be the one who is gonna attack, and so on. Seals was obviously on demand in terms of seam bowling with him, which put extra burden on him, and somewhat his effectiveness was not as it could have been had he had better bowling partnerships with him. And overall, how the team performed, nothing. I was not surprised per se, other than the pleasant surprise of Mr. Hope and Mr. Campbell getting hundreds.
Do you think, Basil, that the batting in India was excellent and brilliant?
No, not at all. Look, that first game, we had pretty decent batting conditions, and test match cricket, a pitch got moisture in it. Yes, you gotta give that session, if you will, to the bowlers, and you play accordingly. And we got blasted through. We won the toss, went into bat, and got bowled out on the 200 runs on the first day. So that alone tells you what was the tale of our batting.
Basil, what about our fielding? It was absolute outstanding, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, there was some brilliant catches taken. Um, so you give them credit on that. But look, West Indians have had a legacy since from the Clive Lloyd era as the best fielding team in the world, and at times, our teams in the recent era have not lived up to that standard. And I can say, at least in this series, they were up to par.
Basil, I will ask you this. On that pitch in the second test match, should West Indies have lost that match?
No, you know what? That pitch, for our batters particularly, even our bowlers, we should have felt at home. That pitch was reminiscent of the typical pitch in the Caribbean. And those are usually the conditions where we are able to compete. As whenever we play on those benign conditions in the Caribbean in Test cricket in recent times, we compete. And that didn't happen really to me at all in that second test.
So, but Basil, the batting was brilliant in the first innings of the second test. We batted is the best batting ever by a West Indies team in that first innings of the second test, Basil.
No, not the first innings, the
West Indies
second
cricket
innings.
fans are very, very happy with the way we batted in the first innings of the second test.
The first inning, we got bowled out on the 200 in the first inning. Oh, we made 200, right? We made 200. Yes, sorry, we made 200. And we got 2-1. Our follow-on was enforced because we made less than 200. It was less than
The
the required.
319. We made
Yes,
less than 319.
correct.
But despite that, Basil,
Uh-huh.
we should be happy and we should applaud this team for making 248 against India on that road. We should be
Oh,
celebrating, right, Basil?
Carlton, you just put the point in there on that road, right? Because Carlton, I will confess, I did not watch the game like in the detail that you did. I watched parts because I was not prepared to lose sleep to watch my team play because I can't afford that these days, losing sleep, right? So I looked at it when I would wake up in the morning, and watch maybe an hour or two, right? And when I woke up and that second test and I saw the India score, I said, wait, we playing on the road. That was my exact comment, right? And then to see when we went to bat, we could not put together the performance to make this game at minimum a draw match.
No, but Basil, the thing about it, you are not a true West Indian fan, Basil, because if you are a true West Indian fan, you would appreciate that 248 is a lot of runs. So you're not a true West Indian fan, Basil. So who dare you to criticize the West Indies team?
If you want to win a test match, 248 would work. Or if you want to compete in a test match, 248 would not work. And so you got to be somewhere between 3 and 350 minimum if you're looking to compete in a test match.
Okay,
Especially in such conditions. Maybe if you got the conditions like what was in the Caribbean recently against Australia, where the wickets were absolutely overwhelmingly in the favor of the bowlers, yes, 248 would suffice.
but Basil, in the second innings following on,
Mhm.
and the Indian bowlers very tired,
Yes.
and our batsman getting start, we must celebrate the fact that we made 390. We must celebrate the fact that although the Indian bowlers were tired, West Indies batted brilliantly. 390 is brilliant batting. You know, we to expect 600 and to draw that match is asking too much, Basil. You are not a true West Indian fan if you expect them to bat and make 600.
I expected them to make excess of 450, right?
But how can you expect that, Basil? You're not a true West Indian fan.
No, well, here, all the factors that you said, because as I said to you, that was the one night I stayed up. I went to bed like about 2 o'clock or something like that morning. When Campbell and Hope resumed, right? 87 and 66 respectively. And Campbell got his 100 and Hope and probably was on 70 something at the time when he got his 100, I think. And I'm looking at the bowling, the Indian bowlers. Nothing is happening on that pitch. Nothing is happening. Nothing. I mean, you might have seen the odd ball, might have spun a little bit or whatever. And then to cap it off, the inexperience of Shubman Gill as a captain showed up. Because he was, it was almost like we would say the term where they say selling the guns to the Apaches. He allowed the West Indian batters to get into a rhythm because he was using his spinners exclusively from one end to the end where the ball was keeping low and in variable bunks and so on, and the seamers on the other end. And not to break it up, it's almost like he forgot that a seamer or a fast bowler is more devastating on a pitch that is low and unpredictable bunks than a spinner, because as a batter you will have less time to react to that variability to a faster bowler than you would to a spinner. And I was wondering to myself, why is he not shifting them around so to show these guys something different? It was until they had a discussion, must be during the water break. You saw a prolonged discussion and Rahul talking to him and so on. And I guess the Indian guys, the guys who were hearing, they could probably discern some of the conversation out of the stump mic, even though they weren't right at the stumps, was saying that Rahul was saying to him, we're going to set the field where they got giving them the scoring option, square the wicket, which now would bring in the horizontal bat shot, which would make sense on a wicket that's playing low and in variable bunks. Horizontal bat shots are usually the most low percentage shots. And what happened? Campbell felt for the bait, tried to play the horizontal bat shot with a sweep, and got LBW, missed the ball and got LBW, right?
Basil, under what circumstances should West Indies have got bowled out with all that was in place? Tiring bowlers, flat pitch, well set batsmen. How comes we got bowled out for 390?
I think it's still a situation of our guys not being able to grind, the temperament to put a very, very heavy price on their wickets. That old cliche, that fight that was reminiscent of past eras, batters, that is not part of the possession or the skill set of this current generation. Maybe it's because they play so much white ball cricket that does not engender for them to concentrate for long periods of time. And they could get away with a lot more recklessness in those formats than they would in a test match.
Okay.
So the skill set of our batters, in my view, as a collective, is not test standard.
But Basil, when you look at the fact that we are 11th in the World Test Championship table, and West Indian fans are very, very happy that we are in 11th position. Why is it that West Indian fans are so happy that we are in 11th position?
Carton, those West Indian fans who would be happy, and this is not a dig at them, are got to be mostly younger West Indian cricket fans that don't know anything other than what they read in a book or they put on the YouTube or so on about the halcyon days of West Indies cricket, right? Those of us who experienced those halcyon days could never be satisfied with 11th when we know the legacy of West Indies cricket.
Yeah, but Basil, you see, you are not a true West Indian fan then if you are not satisfied with the team being to 11th position. You're not a true. You are finding unnecessary things to criticize. You are clearly not a true fan, Basil.
Now, I'll say this, Carton, don't lean back too much when you do, because you're going into the background when you lean back. I just want to let you know that. Anyway, I, per se, don't get into the histrionics, if you will, of every time we lose a test match or performances. Because my eyes are clearly on the prize, and the prize being developing the infrastructure, reorganizing the infrastructure of West Indies cricket so that it would be able to facilitate the production of world-class cricketers in any format. But so I will give the technical critiques and so on and so forth, but I do so understanding these guys are not good.
But Basil, who dare you to criticize and say these guys are not good? Oh, what's wrong with you, Basil, to be saying that these guys are not good? What's wrong?
When you're averaging 20-something, you're not good.
When you average 20, how many?
When you're averaging in 20-somethings as a test batsman, you're not good. You don't even deserve the moniker of batsman behind your name, because 20-something is not a batsman average. There's a bowler or a rounder or something like that average. Not a batsman.
But Basil, the fans who are spending thousands of US dollars on plane fare, ground transportation, hotel accommodation, and hundreds of US dollars to watch the West Indies team, they are not complaining. They are the true fans. They enjoy this, Basil.
Well, Well, you know, we here in North America, for example, we would take any excuse to jump on a plane and go to the Caribbean, and then to add into it, oh, part of our vacation or whatever, we go and see some international cricket. So that's where it at. Because I'll tell you this, Carlton, the numbers of us that used to go back home for Test cricket is nowhere near what it's way more than what it is today.
Thank you very much, Basil. I believe, you know, that on that pitch, batting against a tiring Indian bowling attack, there's no way we should have made less than 600. I don't see how we end up making less than 600. At minimum 550, Basil.
Yeah, well, I going based on the skills. I said minimum 450 because here why I say that. Here why I say that. You remember the last time we made 450 was against Bangladesh when they came here the last time. Which was the last time a West Indian batter made 100 before this test. When Gray made 100, Louis made 97, and Athanaze made 90. We made 450, right? And it was in the similar type conditions, albeit I would argue that India's bowling attack is better than Bangladesh's. But and I know on reflection, I will raise my number from 450 to 500 when we add in the tiring of the Indian attack. Because all good players will tell you this, batters, you know, we're going to grind the bowlers early. They're going to own, right? Maybe if they own the first session and maybe part of the second session, but they got to get tired. And when they get tired, that's when I gonna stamp my authority. And that's something we didn't do.
I'm going to ask you this, Basil. Apart from Athanaze's dismissal in the second innings, tell me which one of those West Indies batsmen did the Indian bowlers get out?
I can't think of any.
Yeah?
I can't think of any.
Okay. Thank you very much, Basil. Thank you.
Well, here, Carlton, and you could extend that to the first innings too.
Yes, I'm speaking about both innings.
Right.
Yes.
Our batters, we find ways to just gift our wicket.
Yes. Yesterday I made the point that, well, not making the point. I bring forward the facts that Chandapal, Alec Athanaze, Ruston Chase, and Tevin Imlach got out twice in the match, and they faced fewer deliveries than Anderson Phillip, who got out once.
Yes. And what is most disappointing, Anderson Phillip faced the most balls in the first inning.
Yes, he faced 93 balls in the first innings, right?
Yeah.
So, thank you very much, Basil. But what I really bring you for here this morning is the playing 11 for the first match in Bangladesh. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick my playing 11, and while I'm picking my playing 11, I will give you an opportunity to write down your playing 11 on a piece of paper or something. So
all right, you're gonna put the squad on the screen so I can be reminded of who is in the squad.
Yes, so there's the squad on the screen. So right. The one-day international squad for the Bangladesh series, and this is a very, very crucial series for West Indies. We need to finish in the top 10 to qualify for the World Cup. And I think at this time, I forget to check the table, but I think we are in 9th position. Someone will remind me. Nonetheless, this series is crucial. It's crunch time for the West Indies. Now, the 15-member squad that is in Bangladesh, And I always want to make this point. It doesn't matter who we think should have been there. The fact is that these are the players that are there. And it's only these players that can play in those matches. So this is a 15-man squad. Sheob, Alec Atanez, Akeem Agosti, Jedediah Blades, Casey Carty, Ruston Chase, Justin Greaves, Amir Jangu, Shamar Joseph, Brandon King, Gudakesh Moti, Carrie Pierre, Shafane Rutherford, Jaden Seals, and Romario Shepherd. Now, in picking my playing 11, there are some players, whether we like it or not, they are sure pick and they are going to play the first match. So players like Brandon King, Casey Carty, Sheob, Shafane Rutherford, Ruston Chase, Justin Greaves, Gudakesh Moti, Shamar Joseph, and Jaden Seals will play the first match, doesn't matter what. In my estimation, is who's going to open with Brandon King.
Mm-hmm.
And here are Amir Jangu and Akeem Agosti, who I think is the two genuine candidates. Mm-hmm. I know that some persons will say Alec Atanez and some would say Justin Greaves, but I think that Amir Jangu and Akeem Agosti are the two genuine candidates to partner with Brandon King. But in my decision, I am going with Amir Jangu. He seems to be in some form. He scored a fine half-century against Nepal in his last match. He's timing the ball well. He got some runs. Not a lot of runs in the CPL, but he did get some runs. And so I am going. He also has an ODI century against the same Bangladeshi team. Mm-hmm. And that makes me going to go with him. Now, I agonize a lot over whether I should go with another spinner or I should go with Romario Shepherd or Jedediah Blades. I also looked at the fact that in Ruston Chase, his bowling in white ball cricket has been among the very best in the West Indies. He has been very economical, although not getting the wicket. And Justin Greaves will give you a few overs. He can give you 5-6 overs on a day. Mm-hmm. Therefore, I want what I would consider my best 4 wicket-taking options to be the next 4 bowlers. Well, there's no doubt about Jaden Seals, Shamar, Joseph, and Gudakesh Moti. No one is going to leave them out. So do I go with Jedediah Blades? Or do I go with Carrie Pierre or Romario Shepherd? I rule out Romario Shepherd because I don't see him as a wicket-taking threat. I don't trust Romario Shepherd with the ball. That's me. I don't trust him with the ball. And I'm just saying that I want a 3-3 mix. I want a 3-seam, a 3 spinner. So I go with Carrie Pierre. That's my playing 11. I'm not saying anyone needs to agree with it. You know, what I want is to hear your playing 11. But this is a playing 11 that I would have played, Basil. What's your thoughts on your playing 11, Basil? Let's hear what you have to say about it.
Actually, Carlton, I agree with your playing 11 100%. Because look, Akeem Agosti looks a good prospect, but Jangu has more experience behind him. He has made runs recently, as you stated. So I would go with Jangu, give Jangu the look. Casey Carty and Atanez. Casey Carty has been one of our more prolific ODI batters in recent times. So on that note, although in my view, I think Atanez is a better player, but Casey Carty has put the runs on the board, so he has to continue until he plays himself out of the team, right? And I agree with you regarding Shepherd, and I would play the third spinner rather than the other seamer, because it's Bangladesh. We're playing in Bangladesh, and Carrie Pierre is a guy that bowls very economical. If he doesn't get the wickets, he bowls tight.
Thank you very, very, very much, Basil. It's I never expected that you will agree with my playing 11, but you have done so. Now I'm seeing a number of comments, Basil, just like what I saw yesterday
Mm-hmm.
And I would have addressed it. I would have addressed it yesterday in much detail, and I really won't go back over it, in any detail. But to say, Basil, because this is a point I really want to make. I have seen over the years since I am on this channel where persons find excuses for mediocrity performances, and they try to paint it as we are ridiculous to want West Indies to do better. Now, I don't know how many persons are happy with the fact that we are 11th on the World Test Championship table. I, for one, don't. I don't know if you are, Bobby. Basil, I don't know if you are. I don't know how many persons are happy with the fact that we have lost our last 5 test matches. And at no time, realistically, no time in those 5 matches did we have a chance. Even the first one in Barbados, when we need to chase 277, we knew that we were not going to get that.
Yeah.
I also found out, Basil, that, for example, if my favorite, which I don't have, but for example, say Brandon King was my favorite player, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Brandon King is failing. To cover up Brandon King failing and to make a point for Brandon King to remain in the team, I would come and say, give the team a chance. They need to play longer together. Because I cannot defend Brandon King's record because it is poor.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to keep my friend Brandon King in the team, I will say the team need to play longer together. Mm-hmm. So they say it in the collective to ignore the bad performance of their players. Another point that I want to point out, in this world, there's what you call division of labor. So when you have a factory, you have the receptionist, you have the chief executive officer, you have the public relation person, you have the production crew, you have the human resource department, and you name them, the division of labor. So there are persons who are thinking that, we talk too much about the game and we can't play the game. So I want to say that I play the game. And I have no doubt in my mind, between the age of 23 and say 33, 34, none of these players on the West Indies team could bat like me then. None. And the thing is that I want a high standard for the team, Basil. How, Basil, I'm going to ask you this, Basil, how comes? Do we want the team to win cricket matches, Basil? Or is it that we just want our friends and our countrymen to continue playing? Basil, don't we run a risk that if we continue along the same pathway that we are going, don't we run a risk that West Indies cricket might become extinct? Basil, don't we run a risk that we could see, because persons are already calling for the West Indies cricket to be demoted from a full test play nation?
Yes.
Basil, when one is satisfied with the performance of the West Indies cricket team today, should 100 years from now, your granddaughter or your grandson or your great-grandson or some family member of you, we are long since dead and buried, and West Indies cricket have been pushed to tier 2 or tier 3, and this person have tremendous skill, but because West Indies cricket is in tier 2 or tier 3, they are not able to capitalize on their gift. They are not able to be rewarded with the finances that these players are rewarded now because of the low standard, Basil. Why is it, Basil, that we are satisfied with players averaging 25? Why is it, Basil, that when a player makes 40, we think that player has done enough? I said it yesterday, Basil, that is not compatible with winning matches when you are playing against teams where the players are averaging 40s and 50s. You cannot be averaging 25, 20, 19 and expect teams that are averaging 45, their batsmen are averaging 40 and 45. Is it that you are saying to me that you do not expect the West Indies team to win matches? That's why you are comfortable with the present averages, and that's why you are satisfied with the present standard of the players. I am not, Basil. I don't know if you are.
No, Carlton, I am not. And there's a difference between satisfied and expectations, right? I look at the reality on the ground, and as you correctly said, if you got a team full of batsmen averaging 20 something in test cricket, the chances of you winning many test matches is zero, um is almost nil, right? Because people always talk about this 20 wickets thing. But cricket, who wins a cricket match is who makes the most runs in the cricket match wins a cricket match, usually, right? So if you got a cadre of batters, again, averaging 25, you can't be expecting the team to be world beaters. But having said that, and understanding that we are not doing all that is necessary, both individually as players and collectively as a West Indies cricket infrastructure, to be better. That's where a lot of the times the critique would come. And I think guys who have played enough cricket on the international cricket, they have no excuses, none whatsoever, because they have a clear understanding of what are the demands. They have a clear understanding of what they need to do to get better. So I would never give any of those guys breaks, whether it's a Roston, Chase, a Shea, Hope, etc. They ain't getting no breaks from me. Those guys have played enough test cricket to understand the demands. And if they're not meeting up to the demands, woe be unto them.
Basil, I said it many times that one of the biggest challenges that we have, and the thing keep going back again, maybe it's something that I need to sort out.
Yes.
One of the big challenges, it's a new software, Basil, so I don't really know
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the workings of it as yet, but as
Right.
time goes by, I will get it.
Right.
One of the biggest challenges that I find in West Indies cricket is that we tend to find excuses for poor performances. How can a player average keeps going down and down? It was already bad. Why is it that that player average keeps going down and lower, Basil? What is it? Where's the pride? Where's the motivation, Basil? It's like you are going to school and you are getting 20 in English and you are making no effort to improve that 20, but you keep on getting lower and lower marks in English. Where's the pride, Basil?
Yeah, I mean, look, as I said to you just earlier, I mean, and a lot of these guys have an understanding, especially the ones who've been exposed both at franchise and international cricket. They have an understanding of what the demands are, what it takes to be a good player in any of the formats. And they, as I'll quote the great Sir Anderson Montgomery Everton Roberts, when he always say, players have to take personal responsibility. And you as a player have to do so. If you intend to get better, you got to turn over every rock possible for you to get better and not continue. I mean, when I heard Chase's comments following the first test defeat about the conditions in the Caribbean, grounds, hit the ball, you got to run two, and so on and so forth, I would remind Chase that if he was a keen student of West Indies cricket history, many of the grounds and so on that some of the greatest West Indies cricketers came out of do not resemble anything that he plays on today. And
Basil,
how were those guys able to be as good as they could be?
that was a shocking comment from Chase, Basil. Absolutely shocking. For more than one reasons. At the level where Chase is, facility is not a problem in the West Indies.
Nope.
I can understand facilities being a problem for a primary school child. But facilities is not even a problem for a high school child in the West Indies, because most high schools who are playing cricket, they have facility.
Yeah, they got a ground. The
They got
ground
a,
is all you need. You need a ground.
yeah, they got a ground.
Right.
But as an international player, it is shocking that they are talking about facilities, because they have available to them in the Caribbean the best facilities in the Caribbean. Last year, we hosted a World Cup. I did not hear one single person from all of the teams that played in the World Cup complained about facilities, Basil. And these facilities are available to our international players. Barbados, where Chase is from, the government of Barbados spent 20 million US dollars to turn Kensington Oval in a Mercedes Benz of cricket ground in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Kensington Oval, the home ground of Ruston Chase, have some of the best facilities in the world. I found it disingenuous on Ruston Chase's part, and it was just a matter of finding excuses for his inability to bat. It was nothing more than that. Just like a tradesman blaming his tool, Basil. What is your thought on Atanay's opening the innings? Imran Frederick said he think that Atanay should open. Bobby Brown, Christopher Bristol, all you folks here, good morning to you. I know that there's a lot of comments passed by. You know, I really can't go back to those comments. My apology. But here is Imran Frederick asking, what are your thoughts on Atanay?
I think Atanay can be used as an opener in the one-day version. That's an option. I think that's they have the option of Atanay, Auguste, as well as Django to open. So may the best man win.
Thank you. Will Simmons is agreeing with my playing 11, but Michael Douglas made a point here that, and I think Bobby said it earlier, that King should be dropped, and Michael Douglas is also saying that King should be dropped. I believe, though, Basil, if Kevin Lewis was there, I think that King would be dropped. But the
Evan Lewis. Yes.
Evan Lewis. If Evan Lewis was there, but I think that because Evan Lewis is not there, King will play. What's your thoughts?
I agree with that, because I don't think West Indies wants to go into, because, you know, as we said, all of these games count. These points count to automatic World Cup qualification. And I don't think they want to go into a series with an inexperienced opening pair at the top, right? Yes. So on that note, I think King is able to survive. But Carlton, I would on the subject of King, the question to you: what was the reason for King being dropped in the second test?
Well, we heard news even before the second test that was it an injury or an illness. But even before
Okay,
that start, we
okay.
heard that one change will be made because King. I don't remember if they said injury or ill. I don't remember, but I know
Okay.
even before the second test, they
Yeah,
said one.
because the reason I asked that,
Yes.
because as you remember, Sammy stated in this in the a release when King was selected, he has a we have what's it,
A
we have
specific
found a
role. Yes.
special role for King, and and everybody was lauding King 70 something against Australia in the second test, right? And two test matches, after two more test matches, he's on the bench. I found that very strange. So I said to myself, we got to be sick or injured.
Yes. You know, they wouldn't drop King Basil because at the time King was the highest run scorer for Darren Sammy. You know, no other batsman had made a half century. So if you're going to drop King, you would have to drop everyone.
Exactly.
You know. Delroy Morris is no, he's referring to me and he's saying that he's glad I'm touching on division of labor. You know, Delroy Morrison, I am one who have made numerous suggestions to Cricket West Indies. I have seen where Cricket West Indies have adopted, I think, two of the suggestions that I have made to them. I want the West Indies cricket team to win. When the West Indies cricket team win, I feel good. You know, my role is not to play. My role is to hold them accountable.
Correct.
And these guys, if you meet up on any West Indies cricketer today in the present squads, they will tell you that they listen to me because there are times when I make sense. You know, so everyone has their role in this ecosystem. That's why I don't even kill ants in a Basil, because they must, unless the ants is biting me, I don't kill the ants. But there's a role for everything. There are some things that I'm gonna kill, like a mosquito and roach, and a rat. But
Yes.
like an ant and all of those, I don't.
Right.
Because everything has a role in the ecosystem.
Correct.
You know, so yes, so everyone, we here on YouTube has a role, the players have their role, but it's one ecosystem. And Basil, I know you know Basil, I don't have to say, but you are here, Basil. I mean, persons in the chat, Christopher Bristol, Bobby Brown, Sheldon Smith, a lot of persons in the chat knows that I not only talk about West Indies cricket, but I follow West Indies cricket. I go to matches in and outside of Jamaica to watch West Indies play. You know, so you know, yes, Bobby, yes, Basil. Well, you were born at the wrong time. You should have been. Well, I don't know if I am happy though, Wilsonmans. I want to say that I'm happy to be who I am now. I wouldn't want to be 20 again. I wouldn't want to be 30 again. I am happy with life now because I don't know if I was 20 again, I would have lived to see 25. You know, you just don't know. So I'm happy that I'm here now. I wouldn't want to go back to those days. Those days in my life, Basil, were really struggling. They were struggling.
But here now, the thing is, if you could go back to being 30 with what you know now, that's the that's the only going back I would be interested in. With the knowledge I have now, and to go back to those ages. Other than that, I good right now.
Okay. Thank you, Athena. Athena is saying, please hit the like button. It seems like a number of persons do not want King to play. You know, and there's a big debate in the live chat about King playing. Athena is saying nothing about pride. It's about a knock. What do you think about that?
Pride.
It's referring to the West Indies cricketers say it's not about pride for them. It's just a knock in the middle or something. That's my interpretation of it.
Yeah. Well, look. The question with this generation is how much do they love the game?
Yes.
Are they playing for something bigger than themselves, right? And I would get the feeling, and this is just from talking to young players, that it's more about the money that they would earn. They don't they don't have this same thing of past generations of playing for something larger than them. That when they walk out to the middle is not just simply to play a cricket match. You're representing something very, very big, right? And your performance will have an effect on those that you represent. I don't think these guys, based on this, and this is just based on my interaction with guys of this era, they don't have that same thing. And I cannot blame them per se, because the societies in which they would have been raised do not inculcate that into them as it did in past generations, those societies that they were raised in, right?
Oh,
So it would take for us as a cricketing infrastructure, regardless of what the society is, to inculcate anybody that comes into that infrastructure the understanding of what you're coming in here for and what you're playing for.
Basil, I do not have a problem or no issue with the present culture, Basil. I have no issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
This thing gone. That's all my hands looking black. I really need to work on the software. So I don't have an issue with players playing for the money.
No, not at all.
My problem are not my problem, because I don't, it's not something. My challenge with that, my take on that is, if you are playing for the money and you really want to maximize your earning, don't you see how much Mitchell Stark is earning, Nicholas Pooran is earning? Don't you see much Cummins, Travis Ed, Josh Butler, Harry Brook, Shubman Gill? Don't you see how much they are earning? And if you want to maximize your earning, shouldn't be that the numbers you are striving for? Shouldn't you realize that the way you are performing now is going to give you a 30 or 40 or 50,000 US dollars? But if you raise your standard to the standard of those guys, or even near to it, you will now start earning 3 million, 4 million, and 5 million.
Correct.
So, yes, play for the money, but show me that you have some pride to really play for the money.
Yeah.
Because what you are earning now is chicken feed,
Yes.
what is available for you to earn if you play and raise your game to another standard. So I don't want them to play for me, Basil. I don't want them to play for the people of the Caribbean. I don't want them to play for the badge. I just want them to play for themselves and their family, and to want to maximize their earning in a true way. When these guys talks of maximizing earning, Basil, they talk of playing 10, 15, 20 franchise league for the year, collecting
Mm-hmm.
10, 20, and $30,000. Some of them, when they come back from these leagues, it's just a matter of profile, because they come back being broke more than when they leave. What I
Mm-hmm.
want them to do is to earn the millions. And if you want to earn the millions, you have to raise your performances, Basil. What do you think?
Yes, very fair point. Very fair point. When I speak of playing for something larger, that's not part of the ecosystem today. So
Yes.
it's about the Benjamins, right? And I agree with you, because these same guys, they look at all the football, the basketball stars, and so on. But what they forget, those guys that earn the big bucks put in the work to get better all the time. And because they have lifted their game, as a result, they earn more. It's a simple equation. So If you want to get a little 20 and 30,000 and you satisfied with that, woe be unto you, because if you can be the best version that you can possibly be, your earnings would go up the ladder.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And so they get the 10 and the 20,000. They spend most of the years away, most of the time in the year away from their family, traveling. While if they raise their game, they not only
spend
get
more time at
more
home.
pay, they will spend more time at home, and they
Yes.
will have money to take their family with them. A matter of fact, if you have real quality, these franchises pay you to take your family with them.
They pay for you to have your family there.
Yes.
That's part of the contract.
Yeah. There's a point with Orlando Paul that I want to address. And he said, I disagree with Mr. Brown about Chase. I have no issue with anyone disagreeing with my opinion.
It's your opinion. It's an opinion.
Yes, it's an opinion, and we all entitled to it. So I have no issue with that, Orlando Paul. He said, Chase spoke, asked the West Indies captain. So I don't understand. Chase spoke, asked the West Indies captain about a general issue in the Caribbean. I don't quite understand the construction of the sentence, but I'm trying to interpret what you said, that, and this is my interpretation. You're saying that Chase was asked about the general condition in the Caribbean. Let me say this to you, Orlando Paul, and remember, I have no issue with you disagreeing with me. When these reporters ask our captains these questions, our captains have to have the IQ to know that these questions are asked to bring us down. You understand? Yes. They want to ask these questions so that when they're having a drink, they laugh. They want to ask these questions to embarrass the Caribbean. And I pointed out to you earlier, Orlando Paul, that Chase does not have an infrastructure problem in the Caribbean. So disagree with me, but tell me which part of what I said you disagree with. Chase embarrassed the Caribbean because he never have the IQ to interpret, to rationalize that the reporter want to embarrass the Caribbean even further. Chase never realized that the reporter want to make a case to the ICCs to say, see there, not even infrastructure they don't have. We need to go to this two-tier system. The question, Orlando Paul, it was not a face value question, and Chase did not recognize that. So you heard what I said in the beginning, and you heard now what I said. Disagree with me? No problem. No problem. But tell me exactly what you disagree with. Basil, your reaction to what I said.
Yeah, I agree with you because, look, for example, the question when Chase talked about the grounds, you hit the ball, you didn't go for 4, you get 2. Those are not none of the international grounds. Yes. Those are the second tier grounds, like that place in Trinidad, St. Augustine's. Yes. Or, for example, when you remember the women's tournament in St. Vincent when they forget to cut the ground and then girls hit the ball and they weren't getting boundaries until I make some noise on a show, Mason show, and next game I see the grounds got cut and the girls was getting 4s, right? But outside of that, it's the second tier grounds Chase talking about. It's not the grounds where international cricket is played at, and that can happen anywhere in the world, right? So. Yes. So I think Chase did not answer that question in the manner that was befitting. What he could have said, that yes, this is what I would agree with. He could have said, one of the things we need much more in the Caribbean are indoor facilities, because a lot of throughout the region, rain is an issue, right? And many times, depending on the time of the year, guys are not able to train because of the inclement weather, and that should not be, right? Because their counterparts around the world they have the ability to go indoor in inclement weather, and train all year round, which is something, and it's always, the equation is always, if I could put in more work than you, the odds are more times than not, I'm going to come out victorious.
Yes, I understand the point about the indoor facilities, but there's a lot of indoor facilities in Trinidad and Basil.
Oh, yes.
Trinidad has a lot of indoor facilities. So I definitely think Chase did not answer the question in the right way. He should know. He has to understand that you should never think that these guys are your friends. You should never think that these guys want to do anything to enhance West Indies cricket. Am I right, Basil?
Yeah, because let me just say this. I heard an interview with the Sri Lankan guy who's the head coach of the academy. And the guy said something. He said, look, okay, he come from Sri Lanka. So it's just like the West Indies. All of Sri Lankan got the world-class facilities like Indian, Australian, South Africa, and England, right? He said, look, the West Indies produced great players all those years and did not have all these big, fancy, multi-million-dollar facilities like the big three, right? And he said, we will never get the same like them for obvious reasons, because we just don't have the resources. However, he said, we must have that high performance mindset. So if you find a square to go and practice, you're going with a high performance mindset of looking to improve a particular part of your game in this square. If you're a bowler, you just put on one stump and you're going to be practicing whatever your skill in that little square, right? And what has happened to our players, I would say this, Carlton, they have been spoon-fed. So they don't understand that you can take, because they go around the world, they see the fancy infrastructure. Oh, Lord, we ain't got in the Caribbean. But take the mindset and apply it in any area. Because I will say this to them, even in big India, all Indian cricketers don't have access to those fancy facilities.
No,
many of them is just like we in the Caribbean.
Yes, when they start playing international cricket,
exactly.
They now have access to facilities, but our international cricketers also have access to world-class facilities in the West Indies. I want to make a point.
Oh, let me just say this right quick, Carlton. I don't want to forget this.
Yes.
And our international players have money.
Yes.
Right? I saw a video, Rutherford practicing at the Super Kings facility in India. So you have money. If you really want to get better, you could go to anywhere in the world and train. If you don't have the facility in your view, in your respective territory, you have to learn to invest in yourself. That's how the bigger money can come.
Yes. A bowling machine in a Basil is for less than $2,000 US.
Exactly.
Now.
They could afford that.
And I want to make a point about the indoor facilities. Yes, I am all for indoor facilities. But we see sun shining and West Indies players sitting down and not training. So yes, indoor facilities, yes, it would help. But are they going to really use the facilities? You know, a number of things that you're saying, Basil. I did a video last week, Monday, covering most of those things. And since I've done that video, I saw Lara came out and saying what I said in his own ways, and a number of other persons saying it. So impressive that was that video that when I checked yesterday, that video alone garnered over 800 subscribers for the channel. And I just want to say thanks to all of those persons. Will Simmons, this is something that I've addressed on many occasions. And I have been told by the director of cricket that Cricket West Indies is looking at some of the suggestions that I made. But to tell you something simple, Will Simmons, it's just simple that every great sportsman or sportswoman have one thing in common. They master the basic. They spend whatsoever time that is needed to master the basic, because when the challenge get tough, you have to be consistent and you have to do the basics right. And every sportsman has that. You know, so that's why if we don't master the basic, we won't. Bobby's saying that ODI West Indies at number 9, 80 points. ODI Bangladesh at number 10, 75 points. Thank you very much, Colin Goodrich. So we are in 8th position. Yes, thank you for that. I will double check it myself, but thank you. Bobby is saying, Basil, I think these guys are ambitious-less. Players who are content with just being an international athlete. Do you think so, Basil? They're just content with their present state and not doing anything to improve themselves.
Look, Carlton, I'm not going to try to read these guys' minds. That's an observation. One could come to that conclusion looking at them from afar. But I don't want to make that conclusion without more evidence, because I would want to find out how much work they do away from playing in the games and so on, right? And then I could say, well, yes, this guy is not putting in the necessary work. Because, also, Carlton, as we would say, not because you're putting in work away from the game mean you're putting in the right work. The old saying, perfect practice makes perfect, not just practice makes perfect. So it's so I don't want to make that make that conclusion without more evidence.
Well, for me, I have seen the lackadaisical training. I have experience of it. I have experience of players being at the ground for 5-6 hours and they don't bat 50 deliveries. And they don't bowl 10 overs. I have experience of that. I've seen it. It's more talking, laughing, and all of that. You understand me? And so
yeah.
Basil, if these guys are training properly with the right intensity and doing drills to upgrade themselves, there's no doubt that they'll be better than this, Basil. No doubt.
Look, Carlton. I have been able to speak to people who were involved with the franchises in the region in 3 different territories, actually 4 different territories. I've spoken to people who have been intimately involved in the franchises, and just like what you said, the practice sessions and training is not reflective of an elite cricket team.
Okay, thank you. Our good friend TV and Cricket Power Play, Elton from over there in Florida, who is now in Jamaica. And by the way, as I saw Elton here, I must tell this community that join us tomorrow. We will be streaming live an over 70 match. Yes, an over 70 match from
over 70.
And it's a 45 overs per side game, over 70 live from Ultimate in Center. And it's 3 matches. The first will be tomorrow, the second will be on Friday, and the third will be on Monday. So if you can't make it to Ultimate, and for all of you all over the world, tune into the Cricket Forum and TV and Cricket Power Play tomorrow for the first of 3 over 70 cricket matches. It's 45 overs per team. Let's see what is going to happen as these gentlemen have fun. We'll be doing a lot of discussion, so join us, come with your views, not only on the cricket, not only on that match, but I will answer any question you ask tomorrow, because being over 70, I know that we have to have some fillers. So any question you ask tomorrow, join us. I will answer those questions. So big up yourself, my friend Elton Tucker and I told you that he's the #1 man that stream cricket in Florida. Bless up yourself, big man. And thank you very much, Elton. Yes.
West Indies are in 9th in the ODI, 5 points ahead of Bangladesh. So this series is a very interesting series. West Indies could either drop down to 10. They could either drop down to 10, or they could move up into the 8th spot, because England is only 3 points ahead of us at the moment.
Yes, I am not so worried about the ODI series in Bangladesh.
Mhm.
I think we're going to win that series either 2-1, maybe 3-love. But the T20 series is more of a concern to me in Bangladesh. I think that we are going to really have a struggle there. And I want to predict that series. But I think we're going to win the ODI series. Minimum 2-1. Minimum 2-1. Elton is saying that he would let King and Jangu open because they are going to start with spin. You expect Bangladesh to start with spin against us in the 50 over? And he's bigging you up also, Basil, and he likes the 11 that we choose.
I don't necessarily think so, you know. I don't necessarily think so.
Yes.
They could, they could, they could, but it's dangerous to open with spin in an ODI game and get the team a running start because it's 50 overs. It's a long game. And you usually want your spinners to be bowling them middle overs where they got the field spread and you could really put the pressure on the team. But they could try it. But
Yeah.
with Django is a good player spin, a decent player spin. I think Mr. Man too is decent. King uses his feet and is aggressive, you know. So let's see.
Delroy Morris is saying that Chase was just exchanging excuses for poor performance. I agree with that. Bobby is saying now that the BCCI is 10 times richer than the West Indies. I think
Only
Basil,
10?
I
Only
think
10?
yeah, that's what I was saying. That I think
Only 10?
Bobby leave off a zero.
Here,
He
Carlton,
another zero.
Carlton, let me tell you something. In 2006, I went to India with the US team, and we were hosted by the Hyderabad Cricket Association. The secretary of the Hyderabad Cricket Association is a guy named Yadav. He was he was the man that replaced Prasanna in the quartet, right? The spinning quartet. And at the time, he was a vice president of BCCI. And he was bragging to me and the US Cricket Association guy that was with us that the Indian cricket, they fly for all the domestic tournaments from under 15 all the way through senior. They fly the players from state to state, right? They fly. They don't take train and bus and so on. They fly. But that wasn't the point. He said that is not even 5% of our budget.
Oh,
So you understand this is almost 20 years ago, and their budget has increased plentyfold since. So you know, not 10 times. Look, we crying in the Caribbean about we have to fly all over, right? And how much of an expense that is to us. And for them, he said 5%. We wish that flight could cost 5% for us.
yeah, and we heard we heard where did we heard Basil that players were driving from Brazil to Argentina and
Oh
bus.
yes.
So we to play cricket, you know.
Carlton, I looked up the bus ride from Brazil and from Sao Paulo, Brazil to Argentina is 47 hours.
Are you saying 47 hours on a bus from Argentina to Brazil?
From Brazil to Argentina.
And persons are driving 47 hours on a bus to play cricket.
When I looked that up, I said, no. There is no way they have got youngsters sitting on a bus for 2 days. And for 2 days to go and play a little cricket. No, not at all. I think Mr. Darren forgot that Brazil is in the more northern part of the continent and Argentina is the most southern part. South America is a pretty big continent.
Who said it, Basil?
Chris Darren said that.
Wow. So you're saying that that's not compatible with the information that you have?
Yeah, that don't make no sense to me that you can be on a bus for 47 hours. I was hoping you could get to speak to the
I would give Chris Deering the benefit of the doubt. I don't think you would have come out and said that without it actually happening, Basil.
Well, if indeed Brazil is doing that, That's cruelty.
All right. So Kingman would not argue with Chase being dropped, with King being dropped, and I think a number of persons would say that. So we are just talking chances with whoever. We just taking chances with whoever we choose. Many persons won't argue if King is dropped, but my position is that being it that Evan Lewis is not there as a senior opener, I think he's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the batsmen want to stay away from home, too much pressure at home. So failure is created, said Athena. Athena is taking the mickey out of these batsmen. You hear what Athena said? You see, Athena, there's never a dull moment. Thank you for the laugh, Athena. You know, there's serious implication wrapped up in that, Athena. You have persons thinking a lot of things now, Athena.
But Carlton,
there's a certain Barbadian guy that comes to my mind readily when I read this. You know which one, Basil?
Yes, but Carlton, let me say this. When West Indies play at home, hardly anybody come to the game.
Yeah.
It's not like in the old days when you had a packed ground and when you make a mistake, the whole crowd in your tail. You ain't got nobody jumping all over you. Anything you can hear is social media and so on and so forth, which you could turn off and don't even listen to.
But then listen, because they want to hear the praise.
Yes.
But I'm gonna read Athena comment again because I just find it funny, and that Barbadian player comes to my mind right away. Maybe the batsman want to stay away from home, too much pressure at home, so failure is created. Now, thank you, Orlando Paul. Orlando Paul said that he sort of explained the explanation where I give that Chase needed was to protect the Caribbean instead of try to embarrass the Caribbean. And as a captain, you need that.
Mm-hmm.
Wilson said, playing for money makes sense. However, if I'm playing with the intent of making big money in T20 franchise, I would not pay attention to play Test cricket. I will play ODI and T20. Oh, okay, that's your view, Wilsonmans. However, you notice that the top T20 players, the ones who are getting the big bucks, the vast majority of them play Test cricket.
Correct.
The ones that are getting the real big bucks, they are one and two, like Puran and even the clerk. But Basil, you realize that the clerk going back into international cricket because he realized
exactly his performances were slipping, and that means the money train would be coming to an end, right? Because he was not playing enough cricket. And Carlton, going back to to add to your point, the more you have mastered the fundamentals, which would come only in playing red ball cricket, because you play it's a longer game. You have mastered those fundamentals. You will be able to play any format.
Yeah, Bobby is saying that, and thank you for this information, Bobby, because I wasn't aware of it. And he's saying that South Africa deliberately play with heavy grass in their domestic league to build stroke play. Ruston Chase is a buffoon. That's news to me. Were you aware of it?
No, I was not aware of it. That's something I will find out. I have to find that out if that's
Greg Canai is bigging up. You know Greg Canai, right?
I heard the name before.
He said that he just came back from Guyana. Mm-hmm. I talked to someone I know that worked at the Providence. They have a ball machine. He said no one is using it, covered with dust. You heard that, Basil?
Yeah, that song's true. I don't think anybody used the bowling machine at Providence.
So what are they talking about? Facilities, and that's why I made the point, Basil. You could have the best indoor facilities. Just a minute. You could have the best indoor facilities. But we see that sun hot and these guys not training. So, go ahead.
On that team, there was an article or a letter written to one of the newspapers in Guyana where they were talking that with the good weather that has been going on in Guyana in the last recent months, but there is no club cricket going on at all. We get the good weather and no club cricket.
I think a 50 over tournament start this weekend or so.
Yeah, well, they're playing the intercounty because from the intercounty they're gonna pick the team to represent Guyana
Uh,
in the upcoming 50, Super 50, right? But that is not club and so on, because if you know about Guyana, they got the three. Guyana is made up of
yeah,
three counties,
yeah.
so those are the three, and then they pick another team of what
To
they
make
call
it,
the Guyana
yeah.
Cricket Board 11. In my view, I think that's a waste of time, because most of those guys aren't ready for that level. And you see, one of the goals we have to realize is lifting the standard of all of our cricket. That's why we were so good in the past,
Uh,
because our club cricket is what used to produce our first class cricketers. That's how good our club cricket was. Now club cricket can't produce first class cricketers.
yeah,
They produce guys who play first class cricket, not
but
the
that
other way
first
around.
guy, Sherwin is saying that you have seen all the praises for Hope and his great batting. Well, put it this way, Sherwin, he should get praise. I don't really think it was great batting, but I think it was good batting. And I
Mhm.
want to congratulate him. He showed a lot of fight, a lot of grit, a lot of determination. He should be congratulated. He once again run from pace. And this is the difference between us, Basil, and a lot
Mhm.
of persons, because, and I made a point yesterday, I can praise, analyze, and critique in the same paragraph.
Mhm.
One gentleman said that he think, yes, I can critique, but he think that I'm too critical. Again, I don't have a problem with a man opinion. I do not have anyone disagree. I don't have a problem when persons disagree with me in that context, as long as the disagreement is not disrespectful. I don't have an issue with it.
Mhm.
Disagree as much as you want. I don't think that I'm being overcritical, but if Dre Dream thinks so, then it's okay for me, Dre Dream. You are entitled to that opinion, and I do not have an issue. But Will Simmons is saying that he thinks that the 40 overs is going to be too many per team. Do you think so, Basil?
Yeah, for the 70-year-olds,
Yeah, but
they
these
should
guys
have
are.
make they should have make them guess 2020, man, not 45 overs.
Yeah,
I wonder if they can survive that.
yeah. So Bangladesh is Afghanistan is beating them up. Okay, Sentan is the Garda parish. Yeah, best parish. Well, I don't agree with that. There's a parish in Eastern Jamaica that is well. Let's leave it there.
My friend in Jamaica, she will say St. Mary's is the best parish.
That parish. There's a parish that is further east. There's a parish that is further east.
Mhm.
How many short ball did Ove face on that pitch is made for ODI batting? How many short ball? It's funny, Basil, because I made a point yesterday that as soon as Bumrah and Siraj got the new ball, bowl a few short balls to him, bang some in the pitch, him start running, and he got
Okay.
pulled
Oh,
down
he
because
run.
he was
I didn't
running.
know that. I didn't see that.
Eh?
I can go back and look.
No, man. When he got bowled,
Yes.
his foot was on leg stump and
Mhm.
his bat was hanging out at about 6 stump, and he got the inside edge and bowled down because they bang a few short ball to him.
Okay.
So, sure, you see, Sherwin now, Sherwin is not a fan of Hope, but Sherwin, that being said, he batted well. He showed grit.
Yeah.
To be
Look,
congratulated.
you
A
say well
hundred is
done.
a hundred in
The
any
man made
cricket.
a test 100. You say well done, well
Yeah.
done, well done,
Yes.
well played. But don't go overboard. Don't go overboard. Like some of the comments I have seen, I just bristle at it. And then when we go to New Zealand and we get New Zealand put me some pitches that the ball seaming or swinging, and he and others get clean up, where y'all gonna sit in?
But you see, Basil, you have to understand to take these things in context,
Yes,
because
exactly.
it's the Hope fans who will say that, and Hope has many fans, and they are happy that he has passed 33, that he has passed 50 for the first time in 33 tests. And they're even more happy that they have scored 100 after 8 years. So
Yes.
his fans are going to be elated.
Yes, yes, yes.
Persons like you and I who are looking at the cricket want West Indies to win and to do good. We congratulate him for the century, but we know that there's context to it. And what is important for us is for him to repeat
Correct. That's my position.
that performance. And when he starts repeating those performances, we will not only clap him and congratulate him, but we will Lord praises down on him. It's by
because Carlton, you know this.
Yes.
I was one of the big advocates for Campbell to come back.
Yes.
You remember? I was even to my Jamaican friends would tell me, no, and I pushed for Campbell. And I said, well played to Campbell, but I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon unless I see Campbell or have the same advocacy I had in the past, unless Campbell does this consistently. If he do this one off and he go right back to what he was doing before, I'm staying where I am. I'm off that bandwagon of advocacy, you know? So my whole thing, like you, is I want to see consistency of performance.
Yeah. Ian James is bringing out the point that de Klerk, you did heard when de Klerk talk about the reason why he's returning his camaraderie. Yeah. So, yeah. But
right.
Yeah, Ian James, let me tell you, man, it's nothing to do with camaraderie, man.
Hell no.
You just have to find a reason
exactly
to come back. But we saw the comment, but that's another one. Ian James, don't take at face value.
The court realize he had a very poor IPL.
Yes.
And then come and get a poor CPL. The clerk see the writing on the wall.
Of course.
I got to get back into the international mix to keep my monies up, because his international performances is what keeps the money up.
Yeah. Bobby's saying that Hope's still not a test batsman. Well, yeah, no problem with that, Bobby, because I always made the point that what the Caribbean's saying, not one swallow a summer made.
Correct.
And the other one, although I'm using this phrase, it's how the phrase go. I'm not disrespecting anyone, but it's even dogs have day out. It's a phrase. It's not that I'm go ahead.
Or the other one rainfall does not make a storm.
One rainfall does not make a storm. So yes, Bobby. And Bobby will say he look relaxed, balanced, facing the spin bowlers. But as soon as he got one bouncer, his feet and stop moving. So true. What we want as West Indies supporters is not one good innings. We need consistently. Only time will tell, said Delroy Morrison. Lovely comment there. We should not go to New Zealand without odds, said Michael Douglas. Agree. He's the most suited batsman for that condition. Most suited.
I don't know about most suited.
I don't know about most suited, because, but look, I agree that he should go.
Carlton, because that pitch at Nottingham was a flat pitch. There was no demons in that pitch. It's England. It wasn't. It was a flat pitch, and he batted well. So don't get carried away that he's the most suited when the ball starts seaming and swinging. Because they ain't got a single West Indian batter is more suited in such conditions.
Okay. Ashwin Camber is saying the whole team is failing in the batting department. Yes, but I always made a point, though, Ashwin Camber, that the team is failing, but why is it that they are performing worse than previously? But he continued by saying there's no batsman in the West Indies right now that can put a good innings together like apart from Craig. Well, as I always said, Camber, I don't have any problem with persons expressing those opinions. Whether I agree with you or not, I am not.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. I challenge the guy. I just challenge his opinion. When Hope came into bat, he posted the best batsman in the West Indies batting. No, so I just asked the question, how you've come to that conclusion, and then he said, well, it's an opinion, but you probably could produce stats thing. I said, no, I'm not producing stats. I said this for several years now. I don't refer to any West Indian batsman as being the best West Indies batsman. To me, that is a per game situation. Who is the best on this day, on this in this game, etc. We don't have batters like when you averaging 20 something, how we can call you somebody the best batsman? You know what I mean? When all of y'all in 20 something.
Well, another thing that I found out, Basil, is that persons will make an opinion and they want you to provide the stats to disprove their opinions. I don't have time for them. No. If you make an opinion and you want to convince me of your opinion, provide the stats to convince me.
That's right. That's why
I don't have time to provide. It's you making the point, you know. So why you want me? Why you want me to provide the stats when it's you making the point? Go and do the research yourself.
That's why I asked him. That's why when people come with opinions, that when you know statistically it would be hard for them to, or facts or whatever, evidence to defend it, I usually ask them the question, how did you come to that conclusion? Because now we can get into discussion of facts, right?
Yeah.
And that takes it out of the realm of simply an opinion. Now we're discussing the facts. And if you look at a guy doing something and then you come to the conclusion, oh, this guy is the best guy, I gotta be like, all right, man, that's your opinion. Let's move on. Story done.
Yeah. As all the place swing bowling good, said Bobby. Athena is saying good luck to all teams in CONCACAF qualifiers. Yeah, thank you very much. How Jamaica match went last night? I don't know. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We have been at this now for more than an hour, and you know,
hour and a half.
Midday in Jamaica, and you know, we look at the playing 11 side. I will just give you back my playing 11. I love this type of discussion, Basil, where we were just talking and the chat is asking questions and making some comment. I hope that they will ask more questions more than just make statements, you know. And when they are making statements, they back it up, as we said, with the fact and just not so.
Yeah, I mean,
some generalized things like, you know.
Yeah,
you know.
That way, Carlton, this would help to elevate the cricket IQ of your community, that you could also add to your moniker, the most intelligent cricket audience in the Caribbean.
Yes. All right, you know. So that's my playing 11. Different persons have different playing 11. I know my good friend Bobby don't want Brandon King. Mikel don't want him either. That's okay, gentlemen. You know, always stay. We disagree all the time, but it doesn't mean that we are not friends. Yeah. So I have Brandon King, Amir Django, Casey Carty. Nobody have a problem, I think, with from 3 right down to 9. There's no problem with those. And then Carrie Pierre and Jaden Seals. Thank you all for tuning in. Basil, do you want to have a final? Comment?
I think we've explored.
All right. So thank you all for tuning in. Have a wonderful day, and remember, see us tomorrow at Ultimate in St. Ann. You know, there's rain in Kingston as we speak, but probably tomorrow in Kingston, in St. Ann, there is no rain. But see us for that over 70 match coming to you live on the Cricket Forum and also on TV and Cricket Power Play. We will have these sort of discussion right through the day. We'll have some interview, we'll have some cricket, probably drinking a few beers, and after drinking a few beers, you definitely want to tune in, because then you will want to hear a lot of things that I have to say.